Welcome back to Hightts, where knowledge grows, right here on Slam on 0.5 and Freedom 106.5 FM. Yours truly, Sunny Bling, alongside Josie Mendoza, Derek Chung, and Otto Carrington. And we just had a fantastic conversation there. We had to thank Deshida Dawson. It was a pleasure sharing that conversation and being a part of the vibe. Of course, brought to you with the kind compliments of Royal Extra Stout. We have that segment coming up a little later on, all courtesy Grow Guru. You guys get a chance to win some goodies, alright? So we're going to continue with our conversation right now, and I'm going to pass over to Joshua Simonga. It's time for us to introduce our artist of the evening, who is going to be coming in with us to hold a meds right now, Jamaican reggae artist, Samory I. Born Samory Fraser, Samory I is a roots reggae artist who has a unique and distinctively soulful voice that preaches messages of truth. His 2017 debut album, Black Gold Capital, catapulted him to the highest heights of reggae with his hit songs like Rasta, No Gangsta, and Black Gold. Samory I has followed up the success of Black Gold with the likes of hits Love and Mercy, which you heard a little earlier on, and Blood in the Streets. You're going to hear that one this evening. And a new album is also expected soon. I understand he might have dropped some music earlier on today as well. Samory I is here to discuss his connection with cannabis, his thoughts on the regional industry, and of course, the latest with his music. Greetings to Samory I.
Man, blessed love, give thanks for having I.
Greetings, Samory. It's a pleasure to have you on. I just want to, before we get into the music, I just want to start the conversation with cannabis. Just tell me about, I know you're as a reggae artist and a Rastafarian, and in your messages and your songs. I just want to find out about your personal and spiritual connection to the plant.
Yeah, blessed love again. My spiritual connection to the plant is that it takes me to a higher plane in terms of meditation.
Right, and is it part of your...
How I write my music.
Sorry, go ahead, Samory.
How I write my music. You know what I'm saying? It is highly influenced by herb.
And just take me through the creative process. And when was your first time you would have used the plant, and how you came to come to using the plant? Was it through elders in the community? And just tell me a little bit about that process.
Yeah, it was through a friend in the community, you know what I'm saying? It was at a very young age where, you shouldn't be smoking. So, I was hanging out with an older crowd when I was a youth, you know what I'm saying? And, I tried it, when I was 10 years old, and since I tried it from that year, you know what I'm saying, I never looked back.
Hey, Samory I, this is Otto Carrington. I just want to, go back a bit because, I'm just discovering your music here, and definitely it shows that connection to the flower. And with you now saying you've been involved with the plant for quite some time, tell me from the perspective in regards of cannabis in Jamaica. How do the average person interact with the flower and build that creativity that you say that you portray, that we hear in your music?
Yeah, you see, the herb in Jamaica is used on a day-to-day, not just for smoking, but for also food purposes. You get me? You have people who consume the plant by tea or through baking. You get me? You have others that consume the plant through smoking. The youth them smoke day to day. You get me? Smoking is a way of help calm the youth, or is a way of help fuel the anger with the youth have inside of him. As marijuana is not only used as for good, it is also used for bad, because I was a troubled youth also, so I can tell you, from my perspective, you get me, as a kid, you get me.
And what would have pulled you away from that lifestyle? Was it music and the influence of Rastafari, you'd say?
It wasn't music, it was the influence of Rastafari. You see, because I always knew I had the talent, no one else knew around. But I always knew I could sing. It was Bridget Anderson, my manager, who brought that out of me, I was, I got in some trouble. You get me? And when I came back, I was staying close by to Bridget Anderson, who brought me closer to the faith of Rastafari.
And tell me about the process of how Rastafari and cannabis through meditation brought you to a place. I know you're a very proud black man, very proud black Jamaican man. Tell me about how Rastafari and cannabis through meditation would have helped you get to that place of self-love. And
you know what I'm saying? As I say, as a youth, I wasn't using the herb for any good personal purpose. I was using the herb to fuel my anger. You get me? It helped me to be braver, to do certain things. That was what the herb was used for by me. After I was injured, you get me? I started to use the herb in a different way because Bridget, and this is my manager again, showed me a different way. She brought me forward and told me that the marijuana should bring it to a lower place, but to a higher plane. And that is how I used it to uplift myself through the word, because the Bible played a very important part as well. Because I couldn't just be smoking the marijuana and getting positive vibrations or meditations. I had to be reading the word as well. So you know what I'm saying? That is how I used cannabis to come forward to the faith.
And just going into the music now, we know you had the big breakthrough in 2017 with Black Gold. Just tell me about it and what it was like being catapulted into the heights of reggae at that time, and some of the personal challenges you might have had, and how your life would have changed for the better after that, for that album.
Yeah, you know, my man was born and raised in the ghetto, you get me? Oh, the music helped me was give Jah the praise and got the raise through that, you get me? You know, it helped me to better the liberty of my family and myself. You know, a way of upliftment. You get me? How did it feel? It was a very humbling feeling for me. You get me? Knowing where I'm coming from to where I am or where I'm headed. Just because, you know, I kept my head down and studied the word of Rastafari. It is a humbling feeling.
Samory, I just want to, I am appreciative to see the transition in your life from turning something from negative into positive. Just for the listening public in Trinidad and Tobago who may not know Samory I, just give an insight as to who you are and where it all started. In the sense of your musical career and how long you have been there, and just give an insight so that people in Trinidad and Tobago can know about you and know more about you.
Now trust me, real people know Samory I.
I ain't saying I ain't saying no, but the reality is that he is a popular name.
More people need to know about me, man. So of course, you know. So yeah, how my musical journey began was, as I say, I was injured. I was shot up a few times, Now I'm saying, upon my recovery, I met Bridget Anderson, who through her I met two beautiful young ladies, Susu and Jamila, the legendary Tina Smith daughter. Every day they were singing, you know what I'm saying, and I was there just listening until one of them said to me, Samory, every day I hear you sing, why can't you sing? When I started to sing, I blew their minds, and that is how I am now.
Where do you think you pull from? Where do you think your inspiration comes from? What do you want people to take away most from your music, you'd say?
My inspiration comes from my pain. You get me? Where I'm coming from. That is what inspires me. You know what I'm saying? To bring more youth from the darkness to the light. It's what drives me every day.
Yeah, I know reggae music has been such a proponent of Caribbean cannabis culture through Bob Marley and all the great artists that have followed. Do you think enough is being done with the liberalization of the cannabis industry in the Caribbean? Do you think enough is being done to reward reggae artists who share the culture? Do you think there's been enough inclusion of reggae artists like yourself?
No, not at all. These politicians in the Caribbean think that the tourists come here to see them, are the reason why the tourists are here, because they hear about them and want to meet them. These people legalize marijuana for the rich because the poor man cannot obtain the license for this. For this, the man who was persecuted can obtain a license by this. So this is not legalization for the poor man. This is for the rich, the money hungry, the ones who already had it, the ones who would have called the police on you and me if they saw us smoking. They are the ones who are profiting from herb right now the most. In terms of the whole legalization of cannabis, especially in my country.
Are you there? Samory?
Yeah, hello?
Yes, we're hearing you. You said it in your country.
Yeah, in my country. Who is profiting off of marijuana? Who is profiting off of the legalization of marijuana is the rich, the man who would have called the police on me or you if him see me or you smoking a spliff.
Yeah.
That man is the man who is profiting off of the marijuana, the legalization of marijuana in my country.
All right, so here's what we're going to do now, Samory. I'm going to introduce Blood in the Streets. We're going to feature that track here right now, Blood in the Streets, and then we're going to come back with some music. What do you want to tell us about that track in particular, Blood in the Streets?
Yeah, it's from how I see I go on a day-to-day in a Jamaica, around the world, you get me? Too much people dying through violence, you get me? We have more people dying through violence than people being sick and dead, you know, and it is ridiculous. We need a change. And this is how I man tell the story through my eyes, from what I man have witnessed from violence.
All right, well, it's a pleasure to have you on the program. Let's feature that track here right now, and then we're going to come back with some more right here on Hightts where knowledge grows. Here's Samory I with Blood in the Streets. I'm on 00.5. It's called Blood in the Streets, 10 minutes after 7 o'clock. We got that Grow Guru segment. That is coming up in a little bit. You don't want to miss it.
Samory I know your new album has been in the works for a while. When are we going to get a new album?
Blessed love. What did I say?
Blessed love, Samory I know you've been working on an album for a while. Is it coming out this year? When is your new album coming out?
Definitely this year. I haven't gotten a date per se, but the album is being released this year.
And what can you tell fans to look into the album? What can they expect? I know fans have been waiting since Black Gold.
I really don't want to give it too much about the album, but we are born Babylon straight.
Yeah, and you have a lot of fans in Trinidad. Any message for them? What would you like to say to them?
Yeah, man, blessed love, man. Looking forward to come seeing you soon. You get me, Trinidad. It was a very beautiful experience while I was there the last time. You know what I'm saying? Looking forward to our next beautiful experience.
Yeah, man, and just to wrap up the interview, we always ask our artists when they come on to give us a cappella performance.
Something.
Yeah, you know, to get the audience a taste of the talent. You could give us a little thing somewhere, right?
Blood in the streets, yeah. Rude boy and police, yeah. Every man of a piece, yeah. But them not keep the peace, yeah. Scammers and thief, yeah. Said them not squash no beef, yeah. Let the dogs of the leash, yeah. The return of the beast, yeah.
Much love, Samory. Keep up the good work and keep telling the message of truth, man. We appreciate you.
It's a pleasure for having you join us on the program this evening. Would you like to say anything to your fans or listeners before you make your way out, my lord?
Yeah, man, blessed love. You know, unity is the only strength we need to survive here, my people. More we unite is the stronger we are. Fight against the system.
And Samory, we have a lot of youth across the region. Just to go out, a lot of lost youth across the region. You made it out from a life of probably headed to negativity and violence. What advice you would offer to these youths to get on the right path?
Yeah, my brother, I tell you, get me. Stay out of the way and hold on there, they get me. Every day you know what that means.
Stay out of the way and hold on there.
You know what I'm saying? Nice. Yeah, brother.
Much love, Samory. All the best, eh?
Yes, sir.
Thanks for joining us. Much love.
Yeah.
Come back to Hightts where knowledge grows. It's now 18 minutes after 7 o'clock, and we're inside our segment, all courtesy Grow Gurus, boy. Of course, we have our teacher Derek back on the inside and teacher Mark on the inside, as dubbed by Junior Kelly just last week. It's a pleasure to have you guys back on the program. What's our topic for this evening, gentlemen?
The topic we're touching this evening is cloning. Not Dolly the sheep, but cloning of the cannabis plant.
Strangely enough, you would say that because I had a conversation with a guy who I guess does his own thing at home. And his thing was that, boy, I really love to work with clones. I remember that distinctly hearing the guy saying that this morning. He said, boy, I have a better chance when I work with my clones.
The uniformity.
So I don't understand. I don't know what you're saying, but I guess we can iron it out now.
Basically, Sonny, like with parents, when you cross two strains together to make new seeds, the children, the offspring of these seeds will be a little different. They will have characteristics of the mother, the father, sometimes the best of both, sometimes the worst of both, but they will be all different. So with each seed you pop, you can't really get the same consistent product each and every time without the process of cloning. Mark.
That is what we call pheno hunting. When you pop seeds, let's say you pop 10 seeds in one strain, they're all going to be very similar, but they're all going to be very different.
Okay.
And as Derek mentioned, that is where cloning comes in. You find your most desirable one, and you take clones. When you take clones, it's a carbon copy. You know exactly what you're getting.
Yeah. So I mean, so when we talk about pheno hunting, when you hear the word pheno, it's a phenotype. It's that unique genetic expression within that seed that you would have popped. So in order to harness it and keep it around, and to keep on growing it, we have to cut clones from the plant. I mean, you could re-veg, but that's a topic for another conversation. But generally speaking, we keep clones. So you know that whether I grow it, you grow it, once we grow it under similar conditions, we get pretty much the similar product. I mean, little differences along the way. The plant is very sensitive, so sometimes, each grower will have a different experience depending on the situation. So in terms of cloning, Mark, what are your tips for our listeners out there?
The most important thing, start with a healthy mother plant. Mm-hmm. That is the number one thing. So we're talking
no bugs, no pests, no deficiencies within the plant?
Nope, none of that. You want to start with clean, healthy cuttings. And you don't want them overfed either. You don't want the mother plants overfed. Any kind of build up of nitrogen is going to slow down rooting.
Okay.
That is a big aspect of cloning. Your clones will root stronger and faster without a lot of nitrogen built up in the mother plant. Me personally, I like to keep my mother plants organic for a reason. Organic grown mother plants, they are much more resilient and they root faster to me.
Oh, okay.
I have compared them side by side. They have a resiliency that's very different than
okay. So we have a plant. It looks good. I mean, what we recommend as growers is that we take the cuts before we flower the plant, because I mean it might be a little too late after you flower the plant to say, oh my God, this is the best weed I've ever grown, the best cannabis I've ever grown, and you can't grow it back again. Right. You have to go through the lottery again. So Mark, in terms of picking the right clone, what size, how big the plant has to be, where on the tree you want to take a cutting from the tree ideally?
The technical term meristem, which in layman's terms, tops. You want tops. Those tops have the most amount of growth hormones. The top of the plant has more growth hormones, more vigor than lower branches, obviously. You could still use those lower branches. You have a healthy plant, they're gonna root. But your tops, your meristems,
so you find they actually root faster.
Oh yeah. You get more vigorous growth out of them.
And in terms of the length of the clone, so we to the viewers out there, we don't need to cut down the entire plant. You don't need a big long branch the size of your arm. I mean, the general rule is 5 nodes, and nodes are where the leaves grow from the main stem, the stem of the plant.
The points where new growth is coming out. Yeah.
New growth is coming out. So
around those nodes on the stem, you have a concentration of what you call auxins, which is in layman terms growth hormones. Those nodes, once you have those within the rooting medium, they root much faster.
So I mean, again, from reading 45-degree angle, generally I cut sterile working equipment as well. I mean, in my experience, sterile working equipment, any little disease, any little bacteria introduced.
You got to remember, when you clip that cutting off that plant, that cutting is still alive and it's under a tremendous amount of stress. Now, being that it's under that tremendous amount of stress, it's wide open to viruses, pathogens, bacteria, all that kind of stuff. So you want to keep everything. I just work with gloves on my hands. I don't have a lab facility, but I'm going to disinfect my surface
all of that. I have a box of new blades. I'm gonna use that, and the 45-degree angle. The reason you want to do that, you could root a clone just cutting it straight or just breaking it off.
More surface area.
More surface area, but more importantly, when you cut that 45-degree angle, if you look at it, you're gonna see a lot more white than if you would have just cut it straight. You open up more tissue. When you disrupt those cells, you promote rooting. You promote some vigor there where you did the disruption.
Okay, so we have a plant. We take the cutting now. So now we moving on to the rooting hormone that in order to to encourage the rooting process. There are many brands out there for our listeners out there, expensive ones, cheap ones, brand name ones, which you might see online. I've actually seen persons dip it in aloe vera.
First clone I ever rooted, I dipped it in a piece of aloe, and it rooted.
Yeah. So we dip it. So these products are available at our sponsor 1212. Things like Clonex, Athena Cuts. There are other brands out there as well. There are cheap versions too in the normal agri stores. Rootex, and you dip it into it, not too much, and then into a Rockwool cube or a root riot, and from there.
Well, that is a very important step. I'm gonna use Clonex for my example. That Clonex does a lot. It's not just a rooting hormone; it also cauterizes the wound where you open it up. That's gonna protect it from picking up any bacteria and pathogens and stuff like that. Another tip is also scrape around the base of the stem before you dip it. You're disrupting the cells some more, and plus you gain a little bit of penetration with the rooting hormone when you
I understand.
All right, so we inside this segment here, guys, with the kind compliments of 1212 Grow Company, located at 103C St. Vincent Street, as well as 10-pack. We actually have some giveaways here, guys. We're going to give away a 10-pack of
pH pen, a 10-pack of root rats, and
a single-use pack of Clonex. No?
pH pen today.
Just the pH pen today.
So today we're working on the pH pen, right? So that's the LCD litmus pH meter pen.
Yes.
Correct?
And we were spoken about pH previously and the importance of pH in cannabis growth, and in order to test the soil and also the water and the nutrients that are inputted. Cannabis prefers a certain type of environment.
Slightly acidic.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do as well, we're going to open the phone lines as you guys are having their conversation. You guys feel free to call us up 624-155, 623-5001. You can call us up here, guys, and get on the inside. If you think you can answer a simple question, you get a chance at winning yourself that pH meter pen right here on Slam on 0.5 on Freedom 106.5 FM inside our Grow Guru segment, brought to you with the kind compliments of 1212 Grow Company. So we have Teacher Mark and Teacher Derek. They're sharing with us here right now inside Hightts. Let's continue.
Yeah, so when we cut the clone, we scrape it at the 45-degree angle. We scrape it, we dip it into the rooting solution or hormone, Clonex in some cases, Rootex, so aloe vera, as Mark said he tried and it worked at a success. Into a root riot or Rockwool, which is a cube to hold the clone in place and allow the roots to grow. It's a growth medium essentially. It sells in agri stores.
Right.
Even now by our sponsor 1212, check them out, Montgomery Street. Then what do we do with these cuttings and?
Ideally, you want to keep them in what we call a dome. That dome is going to hold the Rockwools or the root riot, whichever you decide to use.
So it's like a glorified rotisserie container from the grocery, which specially made the hold the Rockwool. Essentially, I've seen persons use the rotisserie container.
Yeah. It's a taller cover.
Yeah.
Basically, what you're doing in there is you're creating the correct environment to keep those clones alive. They need warmth and they need high humidity. Not too high. Too high could actually be detrimental.
Dampen them off,
yeah, they could dampen them off. They start to rot, that type of thing. You want to keep it 70 to 80% humidity. That's gonna allow those clones to absorb moisture from
because they have no roots.
From the airspace in it. They have no roots.
So until they form those roots, they'll have to absorb water and from their leaves in order to grow, keep on growing, keep healthy, and to restore roots. And
transpiration is the proper word for it.
Correct, sorry. I haven't done science in quite a while. This is exactly.
Transpiration. Folks, I said the number before, 6241005, 6235001. You can call us up right here on Slam on 0.5. I have a simple question for you guys. I don't want to say the question just yet, but you can call us up right now. It's a pH-related question as we talk cannabis here this evening inside our Grow Guru segment, brought to you with the kind compliments of 1212 Grow Shop. Guys, continue.
Yeah. So from there now, we have a dome. Or again, I've seen some persons reuse the rotisserie containers, but Mark is right. Sometimes it's too short because a 5-node clone, depending on how big it is, it will touch the top and wouldn't allow any room for growth.
We get a call here now. Let me cut you real quick and take that call. Let me see what we got here. Good afternoon, your line. Good evening.
Good evening.
Load on your stereo, please. Please load on your stereo.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Evening,
What's your
how you
name?
doing?
Okay, what is your?
I said, what's your name?
Kyle.
Kyle, so you're calling, of course, maybe try and get yourself this PH pen, all courtesy 1212 Grow Shop, yes?
Yes, of course.
And I would assume that you're 18 years and over, more also 21 and over, yeah?
Yes, that's right.
Because, of course, you cannot collect this unless you are, all right? So don't mama guy yourself and play yourself anyhow you take it. But here's your question, though. What pH does cannabis prefer? Yeah, this is a multiple choice question. What pH does cannabis prefer? Is it A, very acidic, B, slightly acidic, C, very alkaline, or D, neutral?
Slightly acidic.
Slightly acidic is absolutely correct, and there you go. Just like that, you're a winner this evening. Just like that, you're a winner this evening. Big and bad.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Mr. Kyle.
Thanks.
Kyle, do you have your WhatsApp, your phone WhatsApp ready?
Yeah.
Send us a WhatsApp with your ID, please, to 707-SLAM. That is 707-7526. What's your surname?
Ram Logan.
Ram Logan. All right, so I'm going to look out for your name and your ID on WhatsApp, okay?
All right, thanks.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to everyone, Kyle. Keep on listening in.
That's a nice score there, man, by 12-12. That pH pen is very important. It's useful.
That's a big deal right there.
Yeah. We have the curtains now, so it's important to put it under some form of light. I've seen persons put for 18 hours a day because at the end of the day, or even more.
Right. I've tried it 18, I've tried it 20, I've tried it 24. To me, 18 works best. That little rest period seems to help them along the process.
And we're not talking fancy LED setup, so
you know, as far
lights.
as lighting, you actually want weak lighting, and the reason for that is if you have strong lighting, those clones, especially if they came from a very healthy mother and they have some nutrients built up on them, they're gonna focus on photosynthesis. You don't want them to focus on photosynthesis. That's growing. You don't want them to grow. You want them to root. So you want enough light to keep them awake, but not enough for them to do to focus on growing a lot.
Yeah, and you want to keep them to keep the humidity up within the dome. You know, usually we use a spray bottle with sterile water, spraying it. If I mean, sometimes the dome, if the holes on the top of the dome are closed, it can last quite a long time.
Right.
But depending on the situation, the environment, you may need to rehydrate them and spritz them a bit with a spray bottle.
There's another thing to it, Derek, and I want to remind all the listeners: these cloning tips that we give in are general. Cloning is a very individual thing, I notice, and Derek would probably be able to attest to that.
Yeah, it depends on the plant.
Everyone has their own way, and every plant is different.
Correct.
What works for me is not going to necessarily work for Derek, and vice versa. It's a very individual thing. Everybody fine-tunes it. Yes, everybody fine-tunes the method.
I'm seeing here that Kyle didn't waste any time at all with sending in his information to our WhatsApp page. So yes, Kyle, we got your info, the IDs, all that we require, and of course we have your contact number, so we're going to make sure and get in contact with you from there on out. All right, thank you guys.
Yeah, so I mean, so Spirit, how long does it root? You set up the process. You have a dome. You take a cuttings from a healthy mother. You put it on a weak light.
There's really no set time frame. I've seen them start to show roots from as early as 4 days, all the way up to 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. You know, I've seen certain phenotypes stay healthy, stay green, stay alive, but they show no roots for 2 weeks. Once the roots start, it was like normal. Yeah. But usually within the 7 to 10 day period, you're gonna see roots.
Is my experience. But again, I mean, it's always good to. I mean, again, we advocate for four plants only within the per person. Within the legal limit, but I mean, you know, it's a better idea, I think, sometimes to take a few more cuts in case, because you know, success can, you know, vary along the way. Right. It's not an exact science in the sense that, you know, you put this, that, the other, and this is, you get the exact result each and every time. It depends on your genetics, you know. Sometimes, again, with cleanliness being very, very important factor, you wouldn't believe.
The more sterile you can be with the cloning process, the more success you're gonna have.
And then once these clones are rooted within the rock wall or the root riot, then we move on to transplant it within a small cup of pro mix or cocoa, whatever your growing medium is, and then same under the light, because it will take a little time for it to root within a small cup.
Right. You want a significant amount of roots. Not enough roots is going to give you a little bit of a transplant shock. Too much roots is going to give you a little bit of transplant shock. But once you get them transplanted, you want to feed them a very weak nutrient solution, because they're new roots. You don't want to shock them. Mm-hmm. Very weak nutrient solution, very weak lighting, and still high humidity.
Yeah.
You want that high humidity during the hardening off process. Remember, they was relying on the humidity in the dome to stay up and stay hydrated. If you just expose them to open air like that, they will wilt, for lack of better words. They will. It won't take long either.
And once you have your clones then, and they're fully rooted in the cup, you're ready to grow and grow the exact same thing that you would have been growing previously. So, you know, that strain or that one of grow that, you know, all your friends couldn't get enough of when they, you can grow it back again. They could
Right.
see it again within a few months and you could share it with them.
And touching on what Sonny mentioned, his friend like to work with clones. There's uniformity and consistency. He knows exactly how they're gonna the growth rate. He knows how to feed them, how to train them, what's gonna be.
Whether they're male or female.
Right. That's another thing too. Yeah.
To be honest, that's actually where he came from with the male or female part.
Right,
So, but the
right,
clones, you
right,
sure,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, X,
Yeah.
Y, and Z, as opposed to boy, you don't go through the process, then boom, you realize, no, you gotta make it.
I mean, there are regular seeds which can be male or female. Usually, it's about 50% chance, and then there are feminized seeds from breeders. But I mean, you know, some persons prefer the regular seed stability of genetics as opposed to the feminized seeds. We'll go into, you know, how they produce that probably at a later stage of grow. So once persons stay tuned. Yeah, they can look forward to more information.
All right, so folks, you've just been tuned in to the Grow Guru segment. Thanks again, guys, and special thanks to our giveaway sponsor, 1212 Grow Company. If you want to grow high quality plants, check out 1212 Grow Company at 103C St. Vincent Street, Port of Spain. 1212 has grow tents, lights, AC Infinity fans, Athena, Fox Farm, GeoGreen, Mars Hydro, General Hydroponics, soils, and advanced nutrients, right? 1212 is open from Mondays to Fridays between 10:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays from 10:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can also give them a call at 267-6600, 267-6600. Coming up after the break, we are joined by Josie Mendoza of Stoned Sweets. We're going to be talking edibles when we come back after the break. So thanks again to Teacher Mark and Teacher Derek. Any closing remarks here before we take that pause?
No, really, no. Let's look for next week. Send us any questions on our social media pages, Instagram, TikTok. Any questions you may have, and you know we'll get round to the topic, so we'll try to answer.
It's after 7 o'clock. Welcome back to Hightts, the Caribbean's #1 cannabis culture and industry show. Check out Hightts on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Spotify, and each other major platform, and every other major platform, all right? We are now joined in studio by Josie Mendoza, the owner of Stoned Sweets. Now, with a passion for cooking and baking, Josie started Stoned Sweets back in 2018 when her friends asked her to make edibles for them. It was such a hit that they encouraged her to start a business, and the rest was history. And we have Josie in studio with us here this evening, joining us on Hightts. Good evening and welcome to our program. How are you doing?
Hi, good night. I'm good. How are you?
I'm quite all right. It's a pleasure to have you here on the program with us.
And it's a pleasure to be here.
Nice, man. Hightts, where knowledge grows. So from the time you came in, of course, I asked off here, what did you work with? And I saw beverages, I saw things in packs. I didn't even get to open all what's in here yet. The guys think I'm trying to steal it all, which I'm not, but if they give me a chance, I would. Chocolate fudge brownie. Let me see what's going on there. I see we have also chocolate cheesecake brownie. That looks good too. And I also see we have here Loca Pina.
I'll try that one, sir.
Isn't like the same one we tossed out just now there?
Yes, I brought
Let
two
me
of them.
make sure and share these things, you know. Don't just leave me out, you know. So I'm going to start the conversation right off the bat one time around with a very serious question when it comes to edibles. A lot of people know the culture of marijuana, cannabis, being able to smoke the flowers, as they say, and all that kind of stuff. However, edibles now, where people say that you only know exactly how much you took after you done take it.
Yes.
How do you control the dosing when it comes to edibles?
What you would do, you'll have to test it. So I have had my stuff lab tested already, so I know the potency. So the milligrams that you see on the pack is accurate.
Yeah.
So based off of that, what I would do is advise people based off of, do you smoke? If you have a high metabolism, I need to know these things to advise you what to try, because I have stuff at different strengths.
Mm-hmm.
So we have from the weakest, which is 24 milligrams, and to the strongest, which is 400 milligrams.
Wow, up to 400
Up to
milligrams.
400.
As in a dose, like in a pack, like in a brownie,
Yes,
you can get up to
yes,
400
yes.
in a brownie.
I cater for everybody.
Oh wow! Now you mentioned that you mentioned lab tested, and that's important because we saw stories online with people who would have said, boy, they had drinks from different companies and people who trying different things in little backyard stuff that
Yes.
people coming up with, and people have been falling ill, right?
Yes.
And of course that is something that people are going to be concerned about in the edible world. So you have combated that by going to
Yes.
get your stuff tested.
I-
That's something you have done locally or internationally?
Locally.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know you described the ranges. The highest one was what, 400?
The highest is 400.
And for the average person, how long would that high last you?
The average person,
Yeah.
If you eat, it depends on how much you eat. If you eat the entire thing, it could last the entire day.
So let's put it in range of, as they say, like flowers. Like, okay, like the lemon on the radar. A man putting up a roll on a spliff a joint. 400 comes like how many? If you want to put it that way, then like
that's if you're smoking all day.
Okay, so one
It's
brownie,
serious.
that one brownie at 400 come like you put up a few grams well.
Yes,
For the day.
definitely.
Most definitely.
And
Alright.
is that like a functional high?
It really depends.
On
Not-
who you are.
I guess it depends on tolerance.
It really depends on your tolerance. If
For
you
a
are
regular smoker.
regular smoker, it should be tolerable, but my stuff is strong.
Okay.
Hey, Josie, what a question that a lot of people have been asking, when it comes to edibles, there are a lot of different people on Instagram, posting up different companies posting up stuff. Where are we from the aspects of legality? Because that is a question that we would want to find out.
Because we're actually live on the airwaves here. We're using such strong terms like we have lab tested stuff, which is good. You're hearing proper business direction
because
in what's
you
going
need
on.
to be in the proper direction for this when it is legalized. Because if you're not in the proper direction, then people wouldn't want to legalize it, right?
Yeah.
Now,
In terms of legality, we not on the legal grounds right now. However, I do hope that in the future they will change their mind or adjust the laws to cater for this, because just as cannabis is something that could be consumed in many ways, and consuming it as an edible, it could be better for somebody who doesn't like to smoke, etc. It depends on the way that they would like to consume it.
What got you started with this though? What made you know that you had the talent and skill to even produce?
I love to cook, I love to bake,
Yeah.
and that was it.
So is a vision of yours to have an edibles restaurant or something?
I would like to actually branch off
Me
into
too,
the
no?
food business. Well, we could link
Yeah,
up.
you see your links are for.
The same food related thing. I think as a culinary standpoint, that's a good way to develop in the future in TNT as well.
But how has the business been going? Is there quite a demand?
Yes. With regards to my business and where I stand, I have a lot of customers, I have good support, and because of my knowledge, certain things whereas another business owner may not be able to answer questions that I can answer, because of that they feel comfortable to buy from me. I can advise you, because I'm not the person that would, okay, I just want the sale. No, I want to know that you enjoy yourself, you have a good time, which is why I have different strengths.
Right.
So I need to know a little bit about any customer that I deal with in order to advise them, because I don't want you to try something strong and you have a bad experience,
No, as much
because
as-
that is the rep edibles have. You ate the entire thing and you had a terrible experience.
Yeah. And as much as you may have had stuff lab tested, etc., and you mentioned that you listen to people before you say what to take, what not to take, do you also work with doctors per se?
Yes, I do have medical advice. I have a little knowledge myself. I can't say I'm still learning. Every day I would learn something new. That's how life is. I have people that I could advise. For example, I have a couple customers that use this specifically for pain.
Right.
I have some customers that are diabetic, and I try to cater for them just so the sugar would not affect them.
So you have elderly
Yes,
patient?
I do.
Okay.
One of my customers, he is 60 something and he uses it for pain. He had a stroke and he uses my edibles for pain.
Wow.
Would you say that he works with them, for instance? Like there's a 24 here we see now.
Because of his pain, he says he has excruciating pain. He goes at 50 milligrams
Oh wow.
Okay.
at a time.
What input material you use? What's the source material? To get the extract. I
Don't give away trade secrets, eh? Yeah.
No, I don't think it's a trade secret. I mean, yes, your method of extraction might be a trade secret, and your recipes is in. But I mean, it's a reasonable question to ask. Well, source material, whether it's kush, is locally grown weed.
It depends on what I have available. I could use kush, I could use high grade. The teas, I try to use high grade only. Sometimes I would mix it and I would advise my customers accordingly.
Okay.
But I've always wondered, is there a difference? Does the difference in the grade come across in an edible as it does with smoking?
That will be the answer for that would be yes, because of the terpenes.
Okay.
The terpenes of the bud, what you smoke, you will taste it in the product.
Oh.
Because terpenes
So
they
I
are
like
for
you're tasting something.
I don't know, I'm just listening, and as I listen, I mean, that's kind of weird from a tongue
terpenes are
around.
flavor and scent. So yes, it would, especially in the drinks.
Right. Okay.
You know, I think you spoke about an elderly customer you had before. Can you tell us, a range of persons who, with decriminalization? Because quite frankly, I mean, my experience, They have doctors who trying it now. They have lawyers. I mean, not that these persons in these high places won't doing it all along under the cover, like all the stories we always heard. But more so now, people more willing to take a chance. Or, I mean, we've also found a lot to persons who are suffering with illnesses that medication wasn't really doing it for them. Kind of experimenting now with more information out in there in the public domain, especially in the US.
I would add to that is because I would think a lot of people go in more organic as opposed to pharmaceuticals. But I have customers that range from doctors, lawyers, public service, police officers. A lot of them, most of them use it for pain, some recreational, some just want to rock back and enjoy a Friday night.
Mm-hmm. Just as we continue the conversation, I think that we in a place now where cannabis is becoming it's always been here and now it's on the forefront and it's part of the conversation, and edibles is also one of the biggest part of the conversation. Everyone is looking at it as an option to try because not much people want to smoke. What is there in place within Stone Sweets to protect those who, I mean, like minors and people, because we know that there's a risk factor because you're talking from 24 grams or 400 grams. How do we protect our youth?
So what I would do, any customer that I come across, I need to find out if you are at least a certain age and over, because I don't want to be selling to minors, obviously. So I would just ask their age, confirm it, and then from there we could proceed to the usual questions. Do you smoke? Ever tried edibles, etc.? And I will commence from there.
And where do you see edibles? Do you think edibles has the potential to elevate cannabis cuisine? We have our specific offerings, the doubles, the pale hour, this.
Yes, I do. I actually, in the very near future, I'll give you all the little sneak peek. I will be dabbing into food.
Do we get a taste to that?
Of course.
Okay, very well.
I agree with you 100%. And because what I have observed was more so on the local front. The folks that may have been involved in edibles were more from a sweet standpoint, more from a dessert standpoint. And I'm not really much of a dessert man. It's nice, but my point is I still wait. I look forward for what we just mentioned there. For instance, the real culinary experience. You go somewhere for a 3-4 course meal.
Well, guess what? You're talking to the right person.
No, that was saying we in the same boat because I might be ahead of you. Some things in the same
Sonia, butter to go with the steak, boy.
Then they have more than just a herb butter. What about a CBD tamarind sauce for your doubles? Let's not we don't go down the road. There are places we can go with this thing.
And you call the double stand.
So you're telling me about.
So it's
I could
doubles.
just
come on.
Make a little tack back and bring a little burger for all you and that.
So that's what I mean, but my point is in everything, in every way, you know what I mean? You
it could be incorporated into so many things.
Yeah, you can imagine that barbecue sauce and that steaming into that chicken and you're baking your fish on that barbecue sauce and that, oh my gosh.
And honestly, I don't know, people who never smoked, when you smoke and you eat food after, something about it just magnifies the taste, like the nuances of the taste.
Yes, because your hanses.
And it is an aphrodisiac. It's a
in heightened senses.
Even something I read as well, they said, I don't know how true it is, but of course we are here in the Caribbean, we are overloaded, and I have trees in my yard in terms of, they said, mango.
Because it shares a terpene with cannabis.
Yeah, so they said basically if you enjoy a mango 20 minutes before you have a session, it actually increases the
it enhances the high of THC.
Yeah, mango, yep. As in mangoes, and we in the Caribbean, we mango people. So when you see me picking 15-20 starch a day, there's reasons, man. No, I'm telling you.
If you know, you know.
No, I'm saying. I was saying if you know, you know. But my point is, so you learn something, and that's what Hightts is about. Is where knowledge grows, right? And we have to be real. So these are things that I popped up online, and this was not like a local source that taught me. This is something international. I was like, oh wait, I have 4 mango trees in my yard. I have 2 Julie and 2 starch. The best of the best. Look how I like mango more now. You know what I mean? And then we look at it again from the angle of the culinary standpoint. So there are many ways that we could afford to go. You could imagine you have an infused mango chop, knowing what mango does within itself, like levels within itself. Don't run with that, we will fall out. But at the same time, this is my point here, folks, and this is why we have this program, Hightts, where knowledge grows. Derek Atchong, Otto Carrington, Josie Mendoza on the inside here this evening, and we're joined by Josie of Stoned Sweets. Now, you came already and you spoke this evening. We saw brownies, we saw some cheesecake type brownie stuff. There's a drink as well too. What other types of products do you have going on?
Right, so I have brownies, I have cheesecake brownies, I have the, Trini milk fudge, melt in your mouth. I have that.
Ooh, I think they run straight into your blood. What madness is this?
I have cookies.
Sugar hill, let's go straight down.
I have cookies and cream fudge. I do cakes as well. As you can see, I brought the slices of the pineapple upside down cakes. I do drinks. The drinks are actually teas.
Yeah.
When you taste it, I want you to make a guess what type of tea that is.
That's high tea.
In terms of your original recipes, I know you're probably baking and showing Granny back in the day when you were a teenager. When you seem to be doing this a while. Did you have to adjust your recipes to go with cannabis, or is it a situation that's once you make your butter or your oil, the extracted oil, that you just slap it into any recipe? Was there some other adjustments?
I adjust my recipes. All of my recipes are created by me.
Yeah.
Original by me.
Everyone is kind of watching me right now. The room went quiet because I literally started to sip the tea, and everybody was kind of watching me like, oh my god. I don't know why. So not the verdict. It's until 8 o'clock now. We have a little while.
That verdict taste verdict.
Oh no, I'm still swishing around at the moment. Here's what we're gonna do. Let's take a quick commercial break, and let's come back with some more right here on Slam on 0.5 and Freedom 106.5 FM. We have Stone the Sweets on the inside. I am trying a tea. Now hear this, right?
Yeah.
I tried the cheesecake earlier on there. That was the cheesecake.
Yeah,
and
the chocolate cheesecake.
Chocolate cheesecake, and that was 24
That's the one of the weakest.
24 milligrams, right? I'm trying the tea right now, which starts at 220. So from 24 we went to 220. So I guess we'll be able to have a better conversation in at least 3 to 5 minutes, man. Don't worry, we'll be right. 5 minutes remaining in our program this evening. We thank you guys so much for joining us right here on Slam on 0.5 and Freedom 106.5 FM. We have Josie with us from Stone the Sweets. Let's continue our conversation, Joshua.
Josie, I just wanted to widen the conversation a bit. Tell me your thoughts on how things have changed with decriminalization. I know you had your familiar with the ground, the feeling on the ground and that sort of thing. How do you think the culture, cannabis culture locally has changed? We've had a lot of, I want to say, closet smokers in the past, but with decriminalization, have you noticed a change as well?
Yes, people are becoming a little more outgoing, more interested, willing to try different things. So with decriminalization, it has impacted people in a positive way. Yeah. Because a lot of people, rather than, as I said, pharmaceuticals, they're leaning towards cannabis because there are healing properties of the plant.
And the formal sector is supposed to, some would say it's taken a bit long, but it's supposed to be up and running. And Minister Arawi said within the next 2 months he's supposed to appoint the board. Do you want to apply for a license to get into the industry?
I would like to.
Yeah.
Definitely. As much legal grounds as I could get, I would like to apply for it.
So are you working with a lawyer at present? Meaning,
I do.
In light of understanding where you're flying right now on the radar, and you are going about it as best as possible, getting the right amount of information and support in terms of making sure to get a medical expert involved and people involved to test the products on these things. So you're going about it as right as humanly possible. So I just have to ask as well, do you have some sort of legal advice going on?
Yes, I do. By all means, as much legal advice as I could get from my lawyers, I do.
All right, so folks, in case you just tuned into the program late this evening, it's our 5th episode of Hightts, and of course we're joined by Josie Mendoza of the edibles food catering company Stone Sweets, and we're talking a bit about some of our products. Now let's talk about in terms of being able to locate you. If some folks want to get you on Instagram, is there something, you have an Instagram page or
yes,
a contact number?
Yes, I have Instagram. You guys can check me out on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok. If you'd like to get a contact number, it's 329-6669.
All right, now before we wrap things up, I want to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that I would have tried this evening. All right, so I'm like the guinea pig of the program, to be honest. When people bring stuff in, I got a plant. I got a plant a few weeks ago. It's actually still in the cup. It's still in the cup almost 3 weeks later.
So this easy guinea pig, it's like we have to force him to try.
It's not that they're forcing, but my point is that I'm the tester. I'm the tester here for the practical stuff. So my guys are not encouraging me to smoke any flowers, and it's not that. But my point is, people may come with different products like yourself, and why not? Let's try it.
Yes.
So this evening I tried Stone Sweets chocolate cheesecake brownie, 24 milligrams. Walk in the park.
What, that thing kicking yet?
Walk in the park.
That's the weakest. That's not
Sonny, this, Sonny, this we're talking. It come like you now study marathon.
No, I'm gonna move on. I'm not done the conversation.
Now study marathon.
from there, I've also tried this evening. What is this? Velvety, 220 milligrams.
Wow.
But Josie,
A nice chilled chocolate
it takes
tea.
like 1 to 2 hours for it to kick in.
It depends on the person's tolerance, their metabolism.
On average, how long it would
On
take?
average, it could take about an hour.
An hour. So we talking big now. We
But
go hear
the
from
biggest
him.
factor with Sonny is the tolerance.
Yeah, it's gonna be tolerant. Let's put it this way. I'm just gonna share a little true story, right? So I went to the
You
dentist.
sure you want to do this?
Oh, sure, that's not problem at all. I went to the dentist some time ago, about some early in the year, beginning of the year, right, to do a little cleaning and a little work. And I actually had to have what you consider to be the maximum amount of doses to numb my mouth. Because it's like, why are you not getting numb? Like, why aren't you getting numb?
Wow.
Like, why aren't you getting numb? It was so intense, as in they went all the way up to what they could legally give a person before saying, we'll have to just cancel this whole thing. Because the tolerance level,
Yeah.
Well, I bow to you, Sir Sonny Bling.
Well, that's not a boastful thing.
I know
I'm
it's
just
not
saying.
boastful. I know it's not
that no two
boastful.
people are the same.
It's just a different
and you
level.
never know yourself until.
I mean, that's a valid point because some people may be listening and thinking, well, I want to go on Stone Sweets and try. But again, your tolerance.
It would depend on your tolerance, and I would have to speak to you and advise you what to try.
There was this one time actually when I had a co-worker of mine, or a friend I should say, basically, that had there was some edibles from abroad.
Right.
And the gummies and these things, right? And I think they come like 5 in a pack.
That's the medical grade one.
I assume so, but it's like five gummies in a pack, dispensary related type stuff. And I think I had 2 of them. And another dude had 1, and the one went home with 1. And the other gentleman was like, you know what, I want a second one now. And within an hour, the brother was sleeping. And before the time was over, the brother got up and left.
Now I remember I had one of those for the Chronics concert, and boy, I was floating.
And then I got a call later on the night from the other guy that went over with one. He's like, hey, I didn't even finish the first one. I'm going to buy the first thing. Will you give me a bite? I'm like, whoa. So, you really realize that there's different things happening with different people. But it's a pleasure having you come on the program.
And it's a pleasure.
In light of understanding where we still at in development and still being willing to share with the nation as to what you've been up to and how people can get involved and try different types of methods, because I bounce up a lot of mature folks as well who would have that conversation and be like, I really watching this thing and I mind, but I feel like I want to eat something first as opposed to do that kind of wild thing on the road with the expensive, but again in moderation and with education and understanding.
Because at the end of the day, everything should be taken in moderation, because too much of one thing is good for nothing.
Yeah.
You're sure right.
Yeah, everything in excess and nothing good in excess. Nothing exceeds like excess.
It just hit me that we're talking about edibles on mainstream radio. Yes,
isn't that amazing?
Yeah, really.
That's amazing.
If that within itself being real, if that within itself isn't some level of progress, then what is,
Of course it is.
For sure.
Yeah, man. So thank you so much for being a part of our program here this evening. Is there anything you'd like to leave our listeners with?
If you all want to try any of my edibles, make sure you message me. Check me out on Instagram, WhatsApp 329-6669, Facebook. Could I shout out some people?
Of course you can. And someone just messaged me, hi, good night. Can I get back her handles and contact, please? So
329-6669. Shout out to my Stone Sweets team, everybody who made it possible, my boys, my artists, Red. 868 Artistry. If you all need any graphic designs, check him out.
That's it?
That's it.
All right. So thank you guys so much for being here.
Shout out to
Like
Green
Otto has
Trees.
some shout outs too.
Canatrin, like poor lad. Big up.
And it's that man, big up the Green Trees family as well, all the same. That's it for the 5th episode of Hightts. Be sure to join us for episode 5 on May 23rd. We will be joined by the president of Women Grow USA, Gia Moron, local attorney CJ Williams, and Blaine Sobrian will be in the house, and reggae artist Mr. Royal, and the don't worry, we're gonna update that listing for you guys come next week. All right, special thanks.
TTPS supposed to be on, or to remind me who from TTPS will be there? Sergeant Small. All right, he will be joining us for the next show as well.
All right, so make sure and stay tuned for that, guys. Special thanks to our guests and our sponsors, Royal Extra Stout and 1212 Grow Shop. And remember to follow Hightts on TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, and Facebook. You can also listen to past episodes via Amazon Music, Apple Music, and Audible.